Hello and welcome to this multi-part series on fun with Planning Analytics Workspace. My name is Bill Pomerano, the worldwide technical sales leader for Planning Analytics and your tour guide through this journey through Planning Analytics Workspace. This is going to be a four-part series where we're going to start out exploring views, the basis of your Planning Analytics Workspace. Next, once we have our views, we want to work with that view. So I will be guiding you through how to add a calculation within a view right there on your workspace. No need to go in and learn how to write calculation rules or anything special. We're going to be able to do that right there on our workspace. Next, we're going to create a book because a book is what everybody goes to when they are looking at their workspace collection of information and visualizations, which brings us to the next and last tutorial. That's how to create a visualization. Starting off, I'm going to be walking you through exploring views. We're going to go through Planning Analytics Workspace, and I'm going to show you where you go to open up a view. Once you have that view open, let's go and do some fun things with it. We're going to change the view into a visualization. We're going to be able to drill in on a data point. We're going to walk through how to even add a comment to the data. Next, we're going to format that view to create a different visualization that we are going to save as a pin. And then ultimately, we're going to save that workbook that we're working in. Let's jump over to Planning Analytics Workspace, shall we? And get started. Here we are in our welcome area for Planning Analytics with Watson. As you can see, I've got quick launch buttons right here that'll take me to any area that I need to work within. If there are some guided plans that have been already set up for me, I can find those right here, very easy to access. But today, what I want to do is I want to go into my reports and analysis. Now, I can either access it right here through this tile, or I can look to see if it was something I recently worked with. And if it's something that I use often, I want to make a favorite, I would go right here. But I want to show you how we navigate into our reports. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose the folder that I'm going to be looking into and the workbook that we're going to work with. For this exercise, you are a financial analyst at a consumer product goods company. Your manager asks you to analyze trends and provide details for Q4 rent by month, looking at actuals and budget for the total company. So now you need to answer your manager's question by building out a book of Q4 rent by month for that total company. Starting here with your basic income statement, it's very easy to see your information and work with it. The first thing is your manager asked to look at this by quarter. So here you have quarter and year, and you can select this month dropdown and choose quarters. The next thing is we're looking at rent. And based on our chart of accounts, you know that rent is found here in occupancy. So you can either choose occupancy and say, I want to keep this, or you can do the same steps that were similar to how we went and found the quarters and select your account and drill down into occupancy. Now, your manager asked for total company, but you know that the information in your analysis here can also go through and look at all of the other aspects of your organization, like maybe Massachusetts, and see their portion. But for now, you want to keep it just to what your manager asked for, and that is total company. So you've understood the business problem, you've understood the task that was asked to you by your manager, and you went to a financial statement that is right in the realm of what you need. So now that you've got your information here, there might be a couple of things that you want to do to maybe move this around because you were asked to compare actual versus budget. So here you have the information by quarter, but you want to bring in maybe your version because that's going to give you your actual versus budget for each of the time frames. So the first thing we want to do is let's move some things around here and let's bring our budget down across the columns, but our time frame, we're going to move that over here next to our accounts. So now I can see very easily what you're being asked to do, and you've created a visualization that gives you an analysis comparing budget to actual with the dollar variance and the percent variance available to you immediately. So now that you've got this starting point, you want to go in and now make a line chart from this. Right now, this is called an exploration. So this is your view of data. So to create the line chart, you simply go right here into your toolbar and select line chart as one of your available visualizations. And you have many in here, but to start, let's just look at it as a line chart. So we're looking at the line chart, but you're not feeling warm and fuzzy about this. So one of your coworkers gave you a suggestion, well, why don't you break out the lines by maybe the GL accounts that you're working on? Taking their suggestion, you go right here into the fields, and you know that if you bring the general ledger account from the x-axis in here to color, it's now going to parse out all of that information for you. So this is getting you closer to where you want to be, but maybe you want to start drilling down on your Q4 data and see the information by month. So let's close that out there, give you a little bit more landscape. But here, you just want to select occupancy for quarter 4, and then you want to be able to go in here and drill down and now see all of the monthly detail for quarter 4 for your occupancy. And let's just hide that total. So now you've got your months broken out, and you can start to see the trend is going up for your occupancy, especially around rent. So there's something that you want to suggest that maybe some team members take a look at that. You can easily put this back to that visualization expiration that we were talking about earlier and bring our comparison back here. We want to just look at rent and say, you know what? We're starting to feel a little uncomfortable. So let's put in a comment here to take a look at the variance. So you're going to add a comment to, and you're going to post that. Now you have this comment available with that intersection of rent and your variance percentage, that anytime you look at a report where this intersection is brought up, you will be able to see there's a little blue, so move that here, little blue triangle. Very similar to how you have a comment in Excel, is how you will be able to look at a cell comment in Planning Analytics Workspace. Now that you've got all of that in here, we want to make a couple more changes here. So we're going to highlight both the budget and actual column, and we're going to right click here and say keep. Now what we want to do is we only want to focus on rent. So we're going to take rent right here from our report, and we're going to bring that right up to the top. So now you have rent by budget, by actual for your months within the quarter. But now you've got all of this information, but it's easier if you put this maybe into a column chart. So now a couple more things that we want to do to make this visualization really stand out. Let's move our version right over here. And so now we're going to see the comparison by month, and we're going to bring our rent down because we just want to focus on rent. And now I've got rent by month within my quarter comparing actual to budget. And so similar to how we created a line chart earlier, I want to turn this into a column chart. And so here I'm able to see my comparisons. of actual versus budget. And so I want to make a couple of minor changes because everything's all one color. We're going to move some things around here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring my version down here and have it colored by version. That way we at least know which is an actual, which is the budget number. The other thing I want to do is I really don't want to see the total for quarter. So here, I'm just going to hide my totals. And so that way I'm only looking at the months that I need. Now, those are some of the simple things that I can do as an end user. And now I want to be a little more sophisticated with the chart that I make. So I'm going to go here into my edit mode. And I'm going to highlight my chart and go into properties. And the first thing I do is, this doesn't really look like my corporate color scheme. So I want to go here and I'm going to select my IBM palette 7 because that's my divisional colors. So now I've got my corporate colors in here. And if there were others, you can upload or choose different colors. But the next thing I want to do is I want to move my legend from up here. I want to bring that down to the bottom. So I'm going to change the position of my legend down here to bottom, and I want it to just be called version. So I'm going to retype the title. So now I've got my legend. It's brought down to the bottom, but now I'm also looking at these lines in here, and I really don't want to have grid lines in my chart. So I'm going to go right here to my chart area, and I'm going to remove those grid lines. So now it's a lot cleaner. The next thing I want to do is put a title on here. So if I just look at my overall appearance of my chart, I have the ability to show the title. And as soon as I do that, it gives me an option for my font and the size and the color of the text. So I've got my corporate font in here, which is great. And if I didn't, I can upload it, but it also has a lot of other options available. But I want to make this title 22 because I want it to stand out. And again, I could change the color, choose one that's here, or select a custom color. For now, I'm just going to stick with what I have. So I'm going to close out this area. But if you notice, it says click to edit title. And you're going to put the title in here called rent versus plan, because that's really what we're looking at here. So this is rent, and we're doing the actual versus plan in here. That's what we got from our legend. So now you're feeling confident with that. The next thing you want to do is change this title because this is really your rent analysis. So now everything is set the way you want it. The next thing you want to do is you want to be able to keep this chart that you can use again and again. So we have what's called a pin in Planning Analytics Workspace. So it gives you the ability to save an object that you can then use in other workbooks. So we are going to go right here and we're going to create a pin out of this chart. And when you want to find that pin to use it elsewhere, it's sitting right here. Now that we've done this, we've understood the business problem. We have looked at a specific view of information for our income statement, drilled into just occupancy and rent specifically, massage some of the data that was there to bring it into an analysis of actual versus plan for Q4 as requested by your manager. So now let's save this book as your rent analysis. So we're going to call this income statement. And so now when you go to look for this in the future, it's found in that exact same place where you started when you went into your reports and analysis. You'll find that folder and you'll find it there. Similarly, you will also find it here under recents. So there it is. We can go right back to it and everything is all set. Let's come out of edit mode and you are now good to go. So this concludes this tutorial on exploring views. We have identified a business problem. We went in and you opened up a book from the folders. You changed a view to the visualization of choice, drilled down on that visualization to understand some of the deep dive, and then put a comment in there to get others to maybe engage with that information. You then went back, reformatted that view to create this column chart where you then saved it as a pin for future use, and then you saved the book for rent analysis. For our next tutorial, we'll be taking your learning of Planning Analytics Workspace to the next level. I want to thank you for joining me on this session today. Once again, my name is Bill Primorano, the Worldwide Technical Sales Leader for Planning Analytics, and it's been my pleasure to bring you some fun with Planning Analytics Workspace. Thank you.